guys? Ashley with Amare. So, alright, today we're going to talk about Sonobello and Elite and goals and all the places that you guys go to get your surgery where it's kind of like an in and out job. Now let me start this video by explaining it is not, I say this all the time, it is not your doctor's job to do your aftercare. They do the cut and that is it. They don't check on you afterwards like that. If you have a follow-up, you see the nurse. If you're very lucky, you see the doctor. Unless you have like a major problem that you need to see the doctor for. But if you're choosing to get surgery at a place like Sonobello or Elite where they do lipo, they do skin removal, but not necessarily tummy tucks, they do like minor things, it's not a bad choice. That's not a bad thing. That's an okay thing to do because it's minimal, but you still have to do the aftercare the same way you would with a regular surgeon. Okay, so now here's what I've been hearing a lot of. The surgeons there are great. The work comes out amazing. The surgeons are super informative and super nice and super kind and whatever. Okay, the problem is the front desk. The problem is the nurses. The problem is the aftercare. The problem is there's no guidance. You're gonna run into that more with those places than you are with like a regular doctor or surgeon in their private practice, because usually they train their front desk a little bit better. The nurses are a little bit more hands-on, the patient care coordinators are a little bit more hands-on, and usually they'll tell you go find a place to get lymphatic drainage done, lymphatic massage post-op, and at least kind of give you hints to go find the right aftercare. Elite, Sonobello will send you 5 weeks post-op. Now mind you, after lipo, you should be coming in like the same week, if not like 2 or 3 days after, to start, get you in a proper garment, blah, 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 blah. They don't tell you anything. They literally tell you nothing. They are almost as bad as DR, where they kick you out of a plane and bye. DR is worse because you can't get any doctor help. You don't have any of the access to those things. Whereas with Elite and Sonobello, you do. And again, guys, these places aren't bad. I see amazing work come out of Sonobello for people that just need like a little bit. The other thing is they're not as expensive as a private practice. But again, you're not gonna have the greatest staff. You're not gonna have the greatest nurses. You're not gonna have the greatest direction of aftercare, if they even give you any at all. And the garments that they give you are the Mirena garments, which are extremely stretchy, and I have a whole video talking about garments, but basically they're good for like 2 or 3 days post-op and that's it. Then you have to get like an actual garment, go find actual help. Do not go on Amazon and play Russian roulette with your garments. You don't know what you're ordering. You don't know how it's supposed to be cut. You don't know how it's gonna fit. The sizing charts are never right. Please find a certified post-op fitter. I do virtuals, guys, for this reason. If you are in need of a garment or your garment doesn't fit right, or you even get like a whiff or a hint of, I don't know if this fits me right, I don't like the way this feels, my garment isn't comfortable. Your garment should be super comfortable. It should be snug, it should hold you, blah, blah, blah. Set up a virtual with me, we'll figure out your garment situation. Anyway, Elite and Sonobello won't do any of the aftercare stuff. They give you your scar tape until you start using it like a month out, but they don't tell you what your incisions should look like to start using your scar tape. They don't tell you what you should be expecting. I mean, none of these, at least private practice doctors do sometimes tell you that, but none of these places are gonna do that. So again, going to these places are not a bad thing. Like I said, I've seen amazing work come out of Sonobello. Even today I had a client where I saw beautiful, beautiful skin removal. Now, skin removal is different / kind of the same thing as a tummy tuck. So they don't do in-depth work. They won't do an ab repair if you need it, if you have distension. They don't do any of that. They're very, very simple. So they do a little bit of lipo contouring and they'll remove the excess skin, but it's not gonna be like internal ab repair, like super heavy duty stuff. It's just a little bit and that's it. Now for you guys that don't need a lot, that just need a little bit, they're perfect for that because it's super quick, it's in and out and that's it. Now I know Elite has Body Tight, which is kind of the same thing as J-Plasma. It's where the skin, there's like a skin tightening aspect to it. It's radio frequency, it's ultrasound, it's a bunch of different things that they use to help tighten the skin after lipo if you don't need a tummy tuck and it's not that much. So they have those things. I know TriSculpt, which is their form of lipo, it's a different kind of cannula, is Sonobello. Sonobello also does skin removal as well. And again, it's just like a little bit. It's not going to be like a full-on tummy tuck, full-on ab repair. If you have a lot and you need a lot, you got to go find a real surgeon. And I'm not saying these guys aren't real surgeons. That brings me to my next point. Some of these places, so I mentioned Gold's in the beginning, and it's the same thing in Miami, New Life, For You Beauty Aesthetics, like all of these places, please guys, and I have videos on this, check your doctor's credentials. If you find a doctor there that you like, Google them, make sure they are board certified, because again guys, these are like, think of them as like franchises. I mean, they are franchises. Elite and SonoBella is a franchise. They get doctors who also have their own private practice, but they get doctors kind of from wherever to come in and do the surgery. So it's not like they're hiring accredited doctors, but sometimes they're not board certified, which can be a problem because you don't want a doctor who just went and took a weekend course in lipo, or they trained them at Sonobello how to use their machines and called it a day. You want to make sure that this is like a real thing, that they're real doctors and they're doing what they're supposed to. So please Google your doctors. And like I said, there are some amazing doctors there. I just saw today amazing work come out of Sonobello. The doctors there are great. But again, sometimes they're not. So you have to check. You have to make sure. So that's another point, is do the research on the doctor at the place that you're going to. Now, I also know at these places that you don't always get to choose your doctor, or they switch the doctor on you the day of surgery. So be very careful with that, because I've had that happen a lot of times at Goals and Elite too, where you'll go in, you'll request a doctor, in the morning of surgery, they change your surgeon on you. If you chose a surgeon for their techniques, for their specific things, and now, like with Goals, it's BBLs. They do a lot of BBLs, they do a lot of that Barbie doll look where it's like super tiny waist, big hips. If you choose a doctor for that reason and they switch your doctor, your results may not be the same that you want them to be. So just make sure that you're researching your doctors before you go into this, and you're sticking with the doctor that you actually want. And if you don't do the surgery. Just wait. Just wait until your doctor's ready. So there's that. But yeah, they don't really do any aftercare. And again, guys, it's not their job. It's not their job. It's not their job. Your tattoo artist doesn't call you every day or a week after or a month after your tattoo to see how it came out. If the scabs are healing right, like if the colors or the lines bled, they don't do that. Same thing. They're not going to call you and remind you to put balm on your tattoos. Your doctors aren't going to do that. We do that. We set you up with a protocol. We do all the aftercare. We do your massages, make sure your swelling is coming down, make sure your incisions are healing right, make sure you're using your garment properly. That's what we're for. That's what our entire business is about. It's that setting up the protocol for you to follow and giving you the instructions. No doctor is going to do that post-op. They may give you the patient care sheet, and like I said, Elite and Sonobello will send you 5 weeks out, and at that point, yes, you're healed, but you're super swollen, and there's so much potential in that time for things to go wrong. So again, these places aren't bad. They're wonderful at what they do, but I've also seen people go in there having unrealistic expectations of these places, needing a lot of work, still going through with the surgery with them, and then not being happy. Or going back again because they couldn't do all of it in one shot, or they didn't do what they were supposed to, or they couldn't do what you wanted because it wasn't within their capability. Like, you'll get the skin removal and then have to be cut open somewhere else because they couldn't do the ab repair and tighten up your muscles. Or the garments are a mess. 2 months out, 3 months out, you're still swelling. Your incisions are completely healed, and now we have to go back and do your massages, and kind of, you're in your garment a lot longer. Because if you'd come to us 48 hours after, if you'd known, because if they told you, which they don't, but if they told you go get lymphatic massage right after, or even just to look, you would have been out of that garment a lot quicker. You wouldn't still be in it for 3 months, for 4 months, for 6 months, and then another 2 weeks while you're with us on top of that. So it does delay you a lot because you guys don't know, but this is why you have to do your research. So again, these places are not bad. The surgeries they do are amazing, but it's minimal. You can't expect huge things from them because it's only what they can do, and that's it. But if you need a little bit of sculpting, if you need a little bit of fat taken out, if you need a little bit of skin taken off, they're great for these things. But you guys have to find the support afterwards, like with anything. So again, they're not evil, they're not bad, not any of that stuff. They are perfect for what they are, and they're perfect at what they do. But again, guys, they are a franchise, so they're going to be in and out, quick turnaround, and that's not a bad thing, but you have to find the support somewhere else. And no, it's not their job, and stop blaming them and stop getting mad at them, because no surgeon anywhere is going to do that. Like I said in the beginning, if they have a good patient care coordinator, or if they have a good, like, you know, care team, nurses, whatever, then yeah, maybe they're going to suggest lymphatic massage. Maybe they're going to be a little bit more diligent about your garments. It depends on where you go. But when you're going to these places, do not expect those things. And again, if you walk in with those expectations, so at Elite and at Goals and at Sonobello, your tummy tuck and your lipo are going to be cheaper than if you go to a surgeon somewhere, right? So a tummy tuck could be anywhere from 12 to, depending on how much work, 20 grand if you're doing lipo 360 and other stuff with it. But if you're going to Elite or somewhere like that, it's going to be a lot less. It's going to be maybe like 8 or 10, depending on if you're also doing lipo 360, if you're doing your arms, your chin, your legs, whatever else you're doing. But again, you're paying for just the surgery, so it's not a bad thing as long as they can do what you want. You have to save an extra like $1,500 for your recovery with us. And now $1,500 is like the high end. If you're getting all your supplies, your garment, your foams, your wound care, your post-op cream for the inflammation and the fibrosis, and your let's say you need a BBL pillow, the detergent for the garments that you need, and your sessions, let's say you're doing 8, which is $950, that's going to come out after taxes to about $1,300, and then save a little bit extra just in case. But that should be it. Now, if you're doing all of that and you can go to an Elite or a Sonobello or a Goals and get the body that you want and get the results that you want, there is nothing wrong with that. But you have to protect your investment. You have to protect your results, and that's where the money for aftercare comes in. And yes, I know, it's frustrating. They don't tell you that. I know, it's upsetting. Now, let's move on to the techniques that they use. So their, like, Elite is known for using their, like, machine where you're, like, in that twilight stage. And it's kind of like these, if you've ever seen, like, CoolSculpting pads, it's kind of like that, and they've got these little, like, things that poke holes into you and do the lipo that way. At Sonobello, they use a different kind of machine with a cannula to do the actual lipo. Their skin removal is kind of the same thing. It's the same thing as like a tummy tuck. They will, you know, cut the skin and sew it back together or glue it back together. They'll use glue instead, depending on how much you have, depending on how much you heal. So their techniques are a lot less heavy duty than some of the traditional plastic surgeons who have their own practice. So you do heal a little bit better if you have the right care, if you have the right compression, if you have the right team, us, taking care of you afterwards. So again, they are cheaper because their things are a little different and they do a little bit less, but that doesn't mean that they're bad. Their techniques are really good. Like I said, I've seen some amazing results, and I think on our feed it says like a lipo from Sonobello or Tri-Sculpt Sonobello or Air Sculpt Elite. It'll say it on the before and after or in the caption, so you guys can go through those and see them. But it's not a bad thing to go to these places. They have wonderful doctors there, and they do wonderful things, and their methods are great. You just have to be careful and know what you're walking into. So kind of like I was talking about lipocavitation last week, where it's not for everybody, but it does really work and really help like a lot with things that you need. This is the same thing. Sonobello and Elite and Goals are the same thing. So you guys have to be a little bit more informed when you're coming into this. Do not treat them as regular surgeons. Do not, I mean, they are regular surgeons, but don't treat this as like a private surgery center that you're going into. You have to have actual professional help outside of them, because they're just gonna do the cut and that's it. And they're gonna tell you not to get massages, or they're not gonna tell you anything at all, or they're going to put you in a garment that's 2 sizes too big, 2 sizes too small, doesn't fit right, doesn't do anything for you. So please be informed about this stuff, guys. I hope this video helps a little bit. Like I said, I love the results that come out of Elite and Sonobello. They're wonderful, but you have to take your aftercare into your own hands. Last thing I'm going to say, it is not too late when you're doing these things. I have had people come to me 6 months, a year, 5 weeks, 3 months, post-op, and we still get them the results that they paid for to begin with. Because again, the lymph that's in there, the swelling that's in there is staying there to protect the area. So if your healing kind of just stopped because you didn't have any aftercare, that swelling's not going to go anywhere. And I actually think if you scroll way down on our timeline, there are a couple of those in there. It's like 2 years post-op, or like 6 months post-op. The client that I saw today, she's 3 months post-op, still has swelling, she's still sore. She's still tender. Her skin still hurts because she's still swollen. Guys, imagine having a stubbed toe for like 3 months. That's basically what that's like, because your skin isn't healing and reattaching to that tissue, and that connective tissue isn't helping and getting healed because of all the swelling in the way. So if we don't pump that out of your body with a lymphatic drainage, and if you're not in foams and a proper garment, well, proper foams and a proper garment that's going to work on all of that swelling internally and keep it liquid and stop it from becoming hard and fibrotic, and then we dilate your body, pump it to get all that stuff to come out through your urine, if that's not happening, you just hit a wall. It's just stagnant. It's not going to heal, and you're going to be in this holding pattern for up to 2 years, for up to 5 years, for up to 3 months, for up to 6 months, and you're not going to see a difference. You're going to just get stuck and plateau at that swelling, and it can become painful. And even if it's not painful, it can be numb. And even if it's not numb, you hate the way you look because that's not what you paid for. So it's never too late to start with us. And it's not just your lymphatic massages, guys. It's everything. It's your scar care. It's your wound care. It's your garment. It's your foams. It's your post-op cream. It's all of these things. That's what you need to start. Not just going to get massages randomly. You need to be on an actual protocol and start really taking care of yourself and like hammer away and be super diligent about your healing process and your protocol, because you have to finish. You have to actually clean up your body afterwards. And if you're not doing that, you're never going to get the results that you paid for or that you wanted. And God forbid you think you need to have another surgery because it's not what you wanted. So before you guys consider getting revisions or saying that it didn't work, try coming to us. Try getting on a protocol. Try these things so we can clean up the body and get everything out. I have tons of videos on the lymphatic system, how it works, the garments, the products, all these things. Scroll through the IGTV, pick the ones that you're interested in, watch them, and get a little bit more educated on this stuff. Because like I said, 2 years out, we can still help. We can still do things. Now, should you wait that long? No, because that's a really long time to be uncomfortable and swollen and in a garment and not happy. But it's not too late to start. So even if your doctor does advise waiting 5 weeks, it's a little bit longer than we'd like, but we can still work with it. We can still get you the results that you want. So don't freak out if you can't get here like in time. And don't freak out if you can't get all your 8 sessions clustered. Maybe you have to do 2 a week. Maybe you've got to do 1 a week for 8 weeks. I've had clients do that. It just means that you're going to be in your garment longer. You're going to be on the protocol longer. You're going to be drinking a gallon of water a day longer. You're going to be on the diet a little bit longer, and with the restrictions that we need you under to make sure that your body is healing properly. So that's up to you as to how diligent you want to be about it. It's going to work. It's just how much time does it take. So it's not bad to start late, and it's not bad to space them out and figure out how you want to do it. So again, guys, I hope this helped. Again, super big fan of Elite and SonoBello and Goals because the bodies look great, but again, they're not always on it with the patient care afterwards, and that's not their job and it's not their fault. So if you guys are planning to do that stuff, make sure that you do your research, make sure that you come and see us, and I will talk to you guys soon. That's all I have for today. Our Elizabeth office is open, like booking and open. We have clients in there now. So we are in Elizabeth and Highland Park, and I also do virtuals. So I will hopefully see you guys and talk to you guys soon. Have a good rest of your day. Bye, guys.